And coming to the next categorization, it is equilibrium. It is nothing but a realization of individual strength and ability to balance between the health as well as unhealthiness. So, according to the Harzlinch, he interviewed 80 people and collected their interviewed them, and according to their responses, he categorized the health in these three categorizations. That is health in vacuum, which is nothing but the absence of illness; the reserve of health, which means the person's ability of having a physical strength and ability to withstand that illness, and the next is equilibrium. That is nothing but individual strength and ability to balance between the health as well as the illness. Means even though the person is facing illness, he could able to maintain his health. So in that stage, the person is said to be healthy. So in common, every person means every person believes that a healthy life means it is a life full of health behavior. That is outward behavior. If the person shows outward healthy behavior such as doing exercise, or possessing vitality or energy like pro-social, he will whenever the person shows the pro-social behavior or maintaining an interpersonal relationship in a good manner and the ability to function effectively in any conditions, all this comes under the healthy lifestyle. Okay, in common, the people will will say that, will feel that the outward behavior of the person, all these qualities of the outward behavior of the person leads to the healthy life. Okay, so then illness, then till now we have discussed about what is illness, isn't it? So now what is healthy? So now let us discuss about what is illness. So illness can be defined as a state of imbalance that can be caused by either biologically or physically or socially. Means the person will feel, they experiences all the kinds, they will experiences some kind of symptoms such as they will experiences such as some signs or symptoms of disease. Suppose if a person is having a cold, they start feeling the symptoms of sneeze, running nose, or itching nose. All these kind of symptoms the person will feel. So, or use wrong body languages, means they are unable to express their bodily expressions will not be appropriate to the situation, or they will communicate and confirm with the close related people, or who are well communicated with them, that they are not feeling well. Or based on this persistence of the symptoms, they seek a medical help, or they cannot function in the normal way. All these kind of symptoms are seen. They will experiences all these kind of symptoms. So we call these persons as a ill person. Means the person is facing the illness. So according to law, in 1995, he conducted a study and asked the participants what is sick. Okay, so he want to know. He want to know more about the sick and views about the sick. What is a sickness according to the people? So he conducted a study and asked the participants, whomever is conducting that experiment, or whoever he is conducting that study on that sample, he has asked this question as what is sick according to them. So they have told that, I mean, they categorized, means they have explained them. They expressed their views as whenever the person is having the all this kind of like I mean, whenever they feel that they are not feeling normal, means I don't feel right, or psychologically or physiologically, I'm facing some symptoms. Or whenever they says that specific illness are there, leading and I mean, extending from minor issues like cold or depression to the cancer level. So whenever they are facing any kind of specific symptoms of the illness, they say whether they are sick. So consequences of the illness means I can't do what I usually do. Means the regularity will be getting disturbed. The normal regular time, what their normal routine are getting disturbed. So at that time they are called as sick. And according to the symptoms, how much time or during duration of the symptoms means how long the symptoms is lasting in that person. So according to that also they feel that they are sick or unsick. The absence of the health means not being healthy. Means somehow they are psychologically or physiologically or emotionally they are somewhat disturbed. So then they are said to be sick. So these dimensions of being ill are described in the context of the illness cognitions. Means cognition is nothing but inner thought. So whenever the persons feel all these kind of feelings that I don't feel right, or psychologically or physiologically, I feel some specific illness has been taken place, or like consequences of the illness means like I can't do my routine works regularly as if I was there earlier. So all these kind of symptoms are being expressed by those participants. So he categorized that illness. I mean, he defined that illness in those terms. Now coming to the illness cognitions. It is in this model, that self-regulatory model of illness cognitions. Now will let us know about it. So here, Leventhal and his colleagues, they defined illness cognitions as a patient's own underlying belief about their illness. Means what a patient, a particular person who is having illness, is called as patient, and what that patient is feeling or believing about their own illness is called as illness cognition. So they opined that these beliefs means the person's thoughts as a framework or a schema for coping and understanding the illness. And it also told that as to what to look out for it suffering from the disease, means what makes them to suffer from such kind of illness. So they conducted an interview on people who is suffering from the different illnesses, which led to identify the 5 cognitive dimensions of the belief. So in their study, they have identified 5 cognitive dimensions of the beliefs. They are identity. First is identity. It means that the label given to any illness, depending upon the symptoms, is called as identity. Suppose by seeing the symptoms of the running nose, the person will say that I'm suffering from the cold. Okay. So based on the symptoms, how the person is identifying those illness. So that is first cognitive dimensions of the illness. So coming to the next one, it is perceived cause of illness. Means the causal factors that can be biologically or psychologically, what the patient tend to have, or how the patient is representations of the illness are. Means how the patient is receiving that illness, or reflecting the different causation models, or my cold was caused because of that. Means they are giving the reasons, they are interpreting the symptoms. Means why I have getting these symptoms, because of so and so reason I'm getting. For example, in the first tale we have discussed that with the running nose, the symptom of the running nose, they tend to know that they are suffering from the cold. So now here in the second stage, what they will do is they will identify the reasons for that symptoms. Means as if I have because I got wet in the train, so I am suffering with a running nose, so I am having the cold. Okay. So now coming to the next point, it is timeline. So what this indicates is, it indicates the patient's belief regarding the duration of the illness. Okay, whether it will be short term or the long term. Okay, whatever the symptoms they are facing, what the patient is believing regarding the duration of the time. Suppose if the cold is there, some people believe that even though you take medicines or not, the cold will be there for a 1 week. So how much long duration the person is believing about their illness. So this is called as timeline. And coming to the next point, it is consequences. Consequences means it indicates the patient's own perception of the negative effect of that illness. Means um, lack of mobility or loss of social contact or loneliness, all this comes under this consequences. Means about the illness, how the person is, how the person own perception, how the patient's perception having a negative effect on this illness. Okay. So the next point is curability or controllability. Means here, the patient will show the belief with regard to the extent or time. I mean, how much time they would recover from the illness. Means it how much duration, in how many days they can come out of that illness. That is the patient. This is also comes under the patient's own belief. It is all cognition. So we are talking about the patient beliefs regarding the time limits, the consequences, their perceived causes of the illness, and the curability. Means how much duration they will take to come out of this illness. So Leventhal and colleagues used these qualitative methods to assess the people cognition of the illness, and later on they have incorporated these quantitative methods of analyzing people illness cognitions by using the questionnaires. So by depending upon these, they have made a questionnaires, and after that they later use the questionnaires to ask the people regarding their illness. So here in the self-regulatory model of illness cognition, here the Leventhal's model of illness cognition follow the problem solving approach. Means here he is talking more about the how the patient will involve in the problem solving approach, how he approach in this problem solving. So it suggested that an individual will deal with illness or the disease in the same way as solving any problem. Okay, it is believed that in any given situation, if the individual will be motivated to solve the issue or problem and will make every attempt to re-establish that normality. Means if the person has the tendency of attempting the problem, if he's getting motivated to solve the problem, then he will also do the same with the illness also. Means he will try to decrease the he will try to deal with the illness. He will try to deal with the illness and try to solve that problem. Okay. So this traditional model of the problem solving has mentioned 3 stages to lead to a solution. Means if a person want to lead one solution regarding their illness, the person has to cross these 3 stages. What are they? They are nothing but interpretation. Means understanding the problem. Here symptoms, how the perceive the symptoms, or how they give the message to the social perspectives, or deviate from the social. Means how they are interpreting their illness. It is all comes under the illness. That is how they perceive the symptoms, or how they give the message to the symptoms, or whether they will deviate with the social factors or social environment. Okay. Coming to the next stage, it is coping. Coping means it is nothing but it is a kind of addressing to the problem in order to regain that equilibrium. What is equilibrium? As we discussed earlier, equilibrium is nothing but a balance between healthy and unhealthiness. Means even though the person is facing a illness, he has to maintain a equilibrium with the healthy attitudes. Okay. So here, whenever the person is able to address the problem, and accordingly he has to regain that equilibrium. So the third one is appraisal. Means it is analyzing the effectiveness of coping strategies. Means each patient will having a different strategies to cope up with that illness. So here the effectiveness of how the patient is analyzing the effectiveness of the coping strategies. So according to the theorist of the traditional model, they says that these three stages will continue until the individual is convinced that the coping strategies used is successful and it is helpful to establish in a sense of equilibrium. Okay. So in terms of health and illness, if the individual states of normality is being healthy, then any disease will be represented as a problem. Okay. So the individual would strive to eliminate the presence of the threat or problem, that is a disease or a illness. Means if they are in this terms, it means that preventing instead of curing it, they are trying to prevent. See, before in the COVID situations, we can say that in order to avoid from that COVID attack, we have used so many remedies, isn't it? We have used so many remedies in order to not to get attacked with that COVID, isn't it? So this is also that kind of traditional method. Okay. Then Leventhal has applied the stages of traditional model to this health and illnesses. Got it? So, so here in this appraisal stage, means analyzing stage, they will use different kinds of strategies. Okay. The first stage in this model is interpreting, isn't it? Interpretation. So now let us go little bit deeper into this concept because it is very important. So the first stage of this model is what? Interpretation. So when an individual may come across the problem, this problem will come across into the through two mediums, that is symptoms perception. Means whether they are feeling that some kind of pain, headache, or weakness, something like that. Means physiological symptoms, how they perceive the symptom perception is one of them. Or social message, means the doctor has diagnosis the pain or something like that. So it is both into the two medium, that is either the symptoms are perceived by the individual or by the through the social message they have came to know that they are having some illness. So once the individual receives that information about the disease from these two mediums, what they will do is he is getting motivated to return to a problem-free reality. Means he will try to solve the problems using so many kind of strategies. Okay. So what they will do whenever they understand they will get the information about that problem or the disease, they try to assign a meaning to that problem or the disease. So, and this can be assigned by assessing the individual's illness cognition. According to their cognition, they will assign the assign that meaning to that problem or the disease. Okay. Then the construct of this interpretation would consisting of the following dimensions. What are they? Means they will identify the problem. What they will identify the causes of the illness. What are the consequences for this illness, and how much time that its timeline, and also whether they are cured or controlled or not. Whether they can be cured or they can be controlled. Suppose if the sugar, BP, thyroid, all these kind of symptoms, all these kind of illnesses, or all these kind of disturbances in the bodily changes may be controlled, but it cannot be cured. Okay, once the sugar is attacked to the person, we can make them control. We can make them come into the normal level, but we cannot decrease that. Okay, we cannot avoid from it, but due to by using a medication, we can make them into the constant. Okay, we can put them into the constant stage. So this representation of the problem will add meaning to that problem and will enable the individual or the patient to develop and consider the suitable coping strategies. So after understanding all this, they apply the coping strategies. Coming to the next one, the second stage of the model is coping. Okay. So after this consideration, after this interpretation of the problem or interpretation of the illness, the person or the patient will go to the coping stage. That is, it is defined as a conscious effort to minimize the presence of the problem and effectively to restore or the balance. Okay. So coping is nothing but a person's or the patient effort to minimize the presence of the problem and effectively restore or balance the problem. Okay. So this model talks about two kind of copings. So what are they means? That is approach or avoidance coping. Approach coping is one and the avoidance coping is another one. So in the approach coping, what the person will do or the patient will do is, it is an activity that is towards a threat, means illness. So people who will approach coping are likely to engage in the behaviors that will help them to take the medications or visiting a doctor or following a strict diet. So accordingly, what they will do, they will try to trigger the solution. Okay. In this, what the so what they will do is, they even talk to the people who have faced the similar kind of problems, and they will seek the suggestions from them, and they will accept the disease in a common features, and they will accept the illness. Okay, first they will accept the illness, and likewise they will approach the medications, and they will approach the coping strategies like doing they will take the measures. Okay, they will follow the strict diet, they will take medications, and they will approach the doctors and follow them. Okay, all these things will be, we can see in this approach coping. And coming to the next one, it is avoidance coping. In this avoidance coping, it is an activity that the patient will go away from the threat. Instead of triggering to that solution, they will go away from that problem. Okay. So using avoidance coping are likely to experiences, they will show denial and more often engage in the maladaptive coping strategies, means which are not suitable for triggering out the problem. So here they will refuse the medication. Okay. They will not take a medical help. They will have a mental disengagement as well. Okay. They will use a wishful thinking. Okay. They don't try to cope up themselves in order to come out of that problem. Instead, they will avoid the medications. And so this will use avoidance coping strategies. So the next stage of this model of appraisal is appraisal. Okay. The stage of this model that in this model, the third stage is appraisal. So this appraisal is nothing but evaluation of the effectiveness of coping strategies and how the individual is determines if the coping strategies has to be continued or opt for an alternative one. Means whether whatever the coping strategies the patient is using are appropriate or not. If at all they are not suitable, what are the other alternatives to be chosen? So this is a appraisal. So this Leventhal model uses an integrative approach that combines both the perception, emotion, and cognition of the individual in order to address this illness. Okay. So here there is another person who have given that stages of this illness behavior, that is Edward Suchmans. So according to him, according to Edward Suchman, every individual in the world will experience a sickness one time or the other. Okay. So Suchman has designed a schema that describes the 5 key stages of illness experiences that most of the patient will undergo. Okay. That 5 stages of the illness experiences means every patient will undergo, mostly all the patients will undergo these kind of 5 stages in the process of the illness. That is, they will first experiences the symptoms, that is called as symptoms experiences. So the symptoms experiences here, what the individual will do or what the patient will do is, they will make a decision that something is wrong and not normal. Okay. Means suppose, see, whenever you are getting tired, he say, if we take the same example of the COVID-19, at the time, like till today also, like if we are feeling a sore throat or running nose or something stucking in our throat, definitely we will go for a different kind of remedies in order to avoid from getting attacked from the COVID, isn't it? So here, the symptom experiences means the individual will make a decision regarding their illness, whether something is going wrong or not normal, or whether it is normal. Okay. So with the symptom, with the help of the symptoms, they will try to experiences whether the illness is occurred or not. Okay. This stage has having again three aspects. This symptomic experiences stage is having three aspects, that is physical experiences, means how the symptoms are, and the cognitive aspects as well as emotional responses. Cognitive means here the physical experiences, here where the patient picks up the symptoms and they will indicate that symptoms uh, change in that physical self of the person. Okay. Then coming to the cognitive one, the physical experiences, they will interpret based on their past experiences or the knowledge or the signs of the symptoms, etc. So based on all this, they will try to interpret the physical symptoms. Coming to the emotional stage and emotional responses, the symptoms, these symptoms can be of the fear, anxiety, or having concern. All these kinds comes under this experiences or emotional response stage. Okay. Coming to the next stage, coming after the symptoms is experienced. So what the next stage is, assumption of the sick role, means when the individual makes the decision that he is or she is sick. Okay, they are sick. The individual now seek any information or advice which will provide relief of the symptoms. See, suppose if there are some bodily pains, okay, and each and every joints are paining. So whenever you talk to someone, they may say that, okay, fine, we have a good treatment for this. Maybe this is chikungunya. All these kind of suggestions will be given. No. So all these advices will provide relief from the symptoms. Okay, fine. This is not something bad. Okay, fine. We can cure this with the medication, or I have to follow these home remedies in order to come out, in order to get rid of this kind of symptoms. So like that, the person will feel they will assumption of the sickness role will be taken place. So here the individual will start to assume that he or she is sick and heavily depends upon the advice given by his or her referrals. When the individual has tried everything to minimize the presence of the sickness or the symptoms, they will consult. They will consult their referrals or the doctors and does not find a solution. Then, if at all in this stage, if they don't find the solution with the home remedies or consultations and all, then the person will move to the next stage, that is called as medical care and contact. Okay. So here in this medical care, they will take the suggestion of the health practitioners. Okay. And what they will do is make the decisions uh, that they have to meet a doctor or seek professional help or advice in order to come out of their illness. So once they experience and looks for the scientific explanation of this physical or mental discomfort, uh, if at all they don't find even a solution in this stage, okay, after seeking medical suggestions, medical treatment, everything is there, even though they don't find any change, then the individual moves to the next stage, that is fourth stage, called as dependent patient role. It means when the individual makes the decision to transfer, have control the doctor and accept, and they will accept and follow the prescribed treatment. So whenever their suggestions are not suitable for, whenever they take the medication, they have used them, but it is not working out. So what they will do, they feel that the control is transferred from themselves to the doctor. Okay, they comes and admit in the hospitals and seek help from the doctors. In this stage, the individual will become a patient, and physician's treatment will be taken place. They will, their family members will come and take the referral. They will they will give suggestions, give moral support or motivation to the patient. Okay, all these terms will be taken place. In this stage, if the patient is very reluctant to give up of their normal life and accept the change within oneself, so they will realize that only that this is the only way to recover myself. So that's fine. So if at all, if they don't accept this, so the fifth and final stage of the illness is recovery and rehabilitation. After this stage of dependent patient role, they will come to the recovery and rehabilitation. In this stage, what the patient will make the decisions to come out of the patient role, and they will express the desire to return to the optimum level of the health. Okay, they will take the medications properly. They will follow the norms given by the doctors normally. They will use the they will take a proper diet control. They will maintain a proper diet control and all. So their support and allow the patient to return to the normal state of functioning. So this is how the 5 stages of the illness will go on. Okay, coming to the next point, it is psychosocial factors of illness. So here, psychosocial factors of illness are nothing but it is a combination of both psychological as well as social factors that influences an individual perception of the illness. Means how the person will feel psychologically about their illness, and how the social environment is labeling that kind of illness. So combining those two, they will influence the perception of the individual regarding their illness. So psychosocial factors can impact both on psychological and biological functioning of that individual. So the common psychological factors of the illness are what? That is stress, self-esteem and self-concept, social relationships, work conditions, personality. All this comes under this social factors. Okay, psychosocial factors of this illness. So in the stress, the most primarily a person, whenever they are not feeling normal, they will become stressed. They will feel stress. The primary factor of this one's perception towards the illness is stress. Means if the person know that they are having some sick or illness in the body, they have some defect in the body, or they have some illness in the body, the person or the patient will come to the stage of stress first, isn't it? So we know that stress is a state of a mind that someone experiences when they find themselves inadequate to meet the demands of that situation. So suppose in the point of the COVID, if we say, so instead of knowing, even though they know that some kind of medications and all will make them to come out of that pandemic situation, but even though due to the stress situations, so many people has passed away, even though they have taken treatment, because of the stress levels are more, the treatment has not done properly, and so they have passed away. Okay, with the fear of illness itself, they have passed away. So here they find themselves as they are not fit for this demand. Okay, so here the common stressor that impact the illness cognitions are break in the family ties. Means there is a dispute in the family, or there is a breakup in the family situations, or when the person is facing a financial crisis, or whenever the person is having a low self-esteem, or whenever they have a lack of they have no basic needs are given for them, or not provided, or not appropriate for them. So these kind of situations will make the person to feel stressed. So in order to cope up with the stress, an individual can engage in this maladaptive behavior such as smoking, alcohol abuse, okay, drug addictions, all this. Okay. So next stage or next factor is self-esteem and self-concept. So here, what is self-esteem?
Ma'am,
Self-esteem. Yes.
ma'am, in self-regulatory model, Ms. Leventhal and his colleagues who have designed the cognition,
Yeah.
he has designed self-regulatory model, and his friend is Lau, ma'am, Lau.
LAU. Yes.
He is the one who has designed illness cognition.
Exactly. Yes.
Actually, what is the root cause? Means like why they have even thought of means what is the main aspect which has ignited them to develop this self-regulatory model of illness cognition?
See, whenever by this self-regulatory, as if we came to know that whenever the person know the causes, okay, causes of that illness, then the cause can be treated, then the illness will be automatically get treated, isn't it? See,
Yes,
they are giving some reasons to the illness, right? In the self-regulatory model, they are giving the like they are identifying the illness, isn't it?
yes, ma'am.
So here what happens is whenever they are interpreting the illness, what happens? They will know the strategies to uh, trigger that illnesses. Okay, come out of that illness. How do what are the coping strategies? Means depending upon the interpretation, how they understand. See, suppose if you know that if you are getting a ear pain, for example. So as if you know that you have interpreted that it is because of a severe cold, I am getting the ear pain. So what you will do first?
I'll tend to take rest for some time. I'll
Rest for
avoid
some
the
time.
noise.
You will take
Avoid noise.
medication to reduce your cold first. Instead of treating this ear, the root cause is what?
Nose.
Heavier, severe cold, isn't it?
Severe
So
cold. Yes,
first you
ma'am.
will take the medication for this cold.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
in this way, you will automatically have a channel to
Oh,
solve the problem of this ear pain, isn't
yes,
it?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So this is how it is helpful to for this model. Okay, self-regulatory model.
And ma'am, what are the two perspectives in identifying healthcare and other two perspectives, ma'am, in defining healthcare?
I mean, I didn't get you what you're
What
asking.
are the two perspectives in defining
Perspectives.
healthcare?
Okay.
In healthcare.
Okay. You are asking about two different perspectives.
Yes, ma'am. In defining healthcare.
It is, I mean, you are asking whether how it is perceived or it is given by someone. I didn't
Like,
get your question exactly.
what are the two perspectives in
Hmm.
defining healthcare? Means any two perspectives.
Yeah, we will come to that the next in the coming.
Coming lessons, ma'am. Chapter, ma'am. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
How body can communicate through, ma'am, illness by telling that I have a pain.
See, pain is a symptom. Why you
Then
are getting pain? What is the cause of that pain?
pain is a body way of communication to the
Yes, physiological symptom. It is a
physiological.
physiological symptom, isn't
Okay.
it?
And is there any other way body can communicate
See,
with us?
you will find restlessness,
Then stress is
restlessness,
a factor, like physiological
not
factors, like
stress. See, every day in your routine, you can continually work for hours together. Okay. But sometimes what happens, you will get tired very soon. That is nothing but one kind of physiological symptoms for your illness.
okay, ma'am.
Okay. See, suppose you have lack of energy in your body. Okay. So that
Okay.
lack of energy is shown in what? In your physiological symptoms, means your bodily pains or restlessness or getting tired very soon. Okay.
Yes,
All these are physical symptoms for your illness.
yes, ma'am.
Have I answered your question?
Yes, ma'am. But the particular term is physical symptom. Body is
Physical
communicating
symptoms.
physical
Physically,
symptom.
how you experience the
Experience
symptoms.
the symptom. Yes, ma'am.
Ah, okay. So where are we right now?
And if we have to write a note on illness cognition, we have to
See,
mention
in the
what.
backside of this lesson, you will be having some questions, right? So only from that you will be getting. Okay. In this, whenever you are getting a defined illness, write about the psychological factors of the illness. You have to write all this. Okay.
Okay.
So how the illness is defined according to the different researchers, that you have to write definitions and what are the psychological factors of this illness. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So in this symptom experiences, after the symptom experiences, the second stage is assumption of the sick role. It is when the individual will make the decision that he or she is sick, and they will go and they will seek the information or advice from their uh, well-wishers or nearby doctors and all. So the individual will start, they will assume that he or she is sick and healthy, heavily depend upon the advices given by their referral doctors or someone. So the individual has tried everything to minimize the presence of the symptoms. Means they will try themselves also to minimize those symptoms. And whenever they will does not find a solutions in after doing so many things, they will move to the next stage, that is medical care and contact. I think we have done this, no? We have we done this third stage, medical care contact?
I'm sorry, ma'am.
Yes, yes.
I logged in a bit late.
Okay, okay, okay. So in this third stage, the medical care will be taken place to the individual. So here the individual will make the decision that to contact some particular doctor and seek a professional help to come out of that illness. So with regards, what happens is they will when the individual, if even after contacting all these stages, if the individual will fail to recover from their illness, they will move to the next stage, that is dependent patient. Means even after seeking help from the doctor and using the medicines at home, if they are not getting cured, so what they will do, they will go and admit in the hospital and will be um, taken care by the doctors or health professionals, and they will accept that prescribed treatment. Okay. So in this stage, the sick individual will become a patient. They will claim the physician's treatment, and they will also take the help of the family members. Okay. So the patient is very reluctant to give up their normal life and accept the change within themselves. Okay. So after all these stages, the person will enter into the fifth stage, that is recovery and rehabilitation. So here what happens is, in this stage, the patient will make the decision, and that they have to accept the patient role and follow the rules and regulations given by the norms by the doctors, and they will follow the diet they will control their diet according to their doctor suggestions. They will experiences the desire to they are having the desire to come to the normal level of the health again. Okay. So here they support, and they will support the doctors, and they will return to the normal state of the functioning. Okay. So coming to the psychosocial factors of the illness, here psychosocial factors of illness are the combination of both psychological as well as social factors that will influence the individual in perception of that illness. Means here the it is the impact of both psychological, means the tendency, the individual tendency to uh, accept that illness, and or biological functioning of the individual, as well as the social factors, means how the others are labeling that symptoms, or how the social environment, I mean the social factors are influencing or impacting on that illnesses. Okay. So here the common psychological factors of the illness are stress. So whenever some person is having that, have a perception towards that illness is stress. So whenever the persons came to know that they are ill, first thing is that they undergo the stress. Okay. So stress is the state of mind where they will experiences that they find themselves, they are inadequate to meet the demands of the uh, regular situations or the uh, social situations. Okay. So here, what are the reasons? What may be the reasons for this stress? There may be family disputes, they have a lack of money, or they are not getting job, all these kind of, and financial crisis, self-esteem, they are not identified in the group. All these reasons are for the stress. So in order to cope with the stress, the individual can engage in this maladaptive behaviors. So in order to coping with the stress, what the people will do, they either, if it is a healthier way, they will go to the counseling sessions, they will read good books, or they will get motivations. They will read more motivation books and all. They will react in a positive way. If it is in a negative way, if it is a maladaptive behavior, it is nothing but they will get addicted to that smoking, alcohol, drugs. Okay, all these things they will undergo. Okay, so the next one is the self-esteem and the self-concept. So an individual perception of who they are, means what are they according to themselves, means according to themselves, what they are thinking about themselves is called as self-concept. మిమ్మల్ని మీరు ఎలా అనుకుంటున్నారు, ఏంటి అని అనుకుంటున్నారు అంటే how you are placing yourself in the society is known as self-concept. So so self-esteem, it is a combination of both self-respect and self-efficacy of the person. So if the feeling of the person of worthless, if the person feels that they are worthless, the individual can refuse the treatment. Means it is not necessary for me. They will not undergo that treatment. They will start to face that illness, and they will they are going to continue in that negative thoughts. Okay. So what happens if they go in that negative thoughts for a number of days continuously? They will
turn into terminal.
Yes.
That will turn into chronic illness.
Chronic illness. Yes. So their physical strength will also come very lower. In distress, again, what happens whenever the self-esteem, that is self-esteem is nothing but self-concept and self-esteem are psychological, isn't it? They are not physiological. It is both psychological. So these psychological symptoms, if they continue for a longer time, they turns into the physical illness. Okay. So likewise, what happens? They will also have a they cannot maintain a they cannot maintain a physical health. Okay. So all this will take in place. So coming to the next one, it is social relationship. So here, for every person, what is the first society? What is the first social experiences they face?
Failure in the marriage.
When a person is born, if a child is born, what is their social environment?
They are entirely new to that one. Means like right from the feeding, means like
so
to
their
survive.
Family is the first social experiences with the child will face, or an individual will face or experience, isn't it? The
Yes.
Family is their social relationship or the social experiences which they face first, isn't it?
Yes,
so
ma'am.
when the individual grows at home, that is very nurturing, caring, and wherever they are very secured in that family, so that individual's thought process will lead to the hope, means they can do anything. They feel that in the child is grown up in that such kind of environment, then the child feel that they can do anything, means they are having a high reliance as well as resilience as well as high hopes. Okay. Whenever the child is not having such kind of relationship at home, means they are lacking in that kind of social support at home, then the person thought process will be hopelessness, fatigue, despair, negative thoughts, all these kind of things will occur in that person. Okay. So if the individual grows in an environment which is constantly make him or identity that can contribute to the distortion, and this becomes the hurdle for their receiving the treatment. See, if a person feels that in their family, there is no recognition for that person, even though they are doing lot of work, there is no recognition. So what happens whenever they are sick, they will avoid the treatment because even if I am not there, even if I am not present in the world, they are not bothered about me. So what they will do, they will not accept the treatment. So that is how they will lose their lives. Did you get my point?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So how social relations are affecting this treatment of the illness? Yes.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
coming to the next one, it is work conditions. So the work conditions, the work environment does not promote well-being and is in a stress-filled one. If the work conditions are very stressful, so the employees um, will be lead to the many diseases and can change their lifestyles, isn't it? See, suppose only night shifts are there. They are not, they are having, they don't have a proper sleep in the daytime, isn't it? So their
Yes, ma'am.
lifestyle will be changed. So what happens? This kind of things will come, will lead to the illness. Work conditions will also lead to the illness of the person. Next, come to that. Next point is personality. Here, the individual, the personality of the individual will have a great contribution to that individual's recovery. Means how the personality is. Depending upon the personality, their recovery stage or recovery level will be dependent. How? According to the Mayer Friedman and R.H. Rosenman theory, type A and type B personalities are there. So here, these personalities will throw light on how people belonging to these personality types will having the perception or the recovery processes. So those two categories are means they classified into two types, that is focused on certain behavior traits that can indicate who is a greater risk of the falling sick. Means they opened, I mean, they felt that people belonging to the type A were more risk, are at more risk of falling ill. Means they will possess the following traits of, they are very workaholic, they will they have a high health self-esteem, okay, they are more work oriented, I will, and so like that what happens is they are prone to the illness, they are prone to the illness very soon. So whereas in the type B, the personality, they are very free going and they are very relaxed. So even though there are very stressful situations, they try to engage themselves in the relaxation mode. Okay, they try to relax themselves and then continue the work instead of going on working for a long time. They will take a break in between. They will get relaxed. They will use relaxation techniques, and then they are working in that kind of conditions. So this is type of type B, means free going is a type B, and high work oriented personality is called as type A. So type A personality are more prone to the illness compared to the type B. Okay. So how we can manage this illness? After knowing all these things, can you say how we can manage this illness?
After knowing this type A and B behavior, if we opt being relaxed like type B, at certain point of time, we will not achieve the goals. But if we opt to only to achieve the goals, if we opt type A, at a point of time we fall sick. So it is
Yes.
better to maintain the neutral personality, neither jump into A or B
B.
according to
Yes.
the
Yes.
situation. If the situation demands
According to your ability, you have to set
yes,
your goals so that you
yes,
can reach them, and then you will satisfy.
yes,
Okay, so that will not lead you to the stress situation. So I'm asking in general, if at all you are feeling illness, so how you manage that illness? First, what you do is you will screen what is the illness, means screening of the disease. So what you do is you will gather the information about the illness, or how much, what is the status, or whether how the individual will make up that illnesses, or how they will take the timely help, whether they are able to do that or not. Okay. So whenever, see, suppose if the person has having a like cancer, or they are having a cardiovascular diseases, so what they will do, they will reduce the death due to this like prostate cancer or whatever it is. First they will do, they will try to identify the, they will identify the disease. So whenever they are identifying the disease, what happens, the person will try to approach in that point of view. So the treatment is given very soon, and how they will manage their sickness, and they will come out of that sickness. So coming to the next stage, it is reduction of the illness, promoting behaviors, means it will encourage not only taking the medical help or taking the medication, they can also have a counseling sessions whenever it is a kind of psychological symptoms. They can take the counseling sections, they can take a relaxation techniques. If they are sexually transmitted diseases, they can have an awareness of regarding that. So all these kind of things will help the patient to manage the illness before. Means here in this management of illness, we can say that instead of curing, they are more prone towards the they are more prone towards the prevention. So before getting anything, first what we have to do, we have to try to prevent them. So here, instead of promoting that illness, first what we have to do, we have to take the measures not to get into that illness. Okay. So here, they can, after, if at all the patient is having a illness, even though they are taking a preventive measures, if the patient is having the illness, first they have to identify the symptoms. Okay. They can take the precautions, and the patient should constantly get motivated to take up the different kinds of therapies, or they can improve their quality of life, so that they can manage themselves, and the effective medical care will has to take in place. Okay. The interventions has to take place, their lifestyle has to be changed. Means due to that illness, how the timetable has to be changed, their regular timetable has to be changed. So healthy lifestyles has to be attached, instead of having a unhealthy behaviors. So here, physical health and mental health policies should be inclusive in the people belonging to that different spheres of life, and they have to do regular exercise, they have to take proper diet, they have to take medications, they have to undergo with medical assistance, and provide they provide appropriate and adequate measures to come out of that illness. So that is how we can manage the illness. So tomorrow class, we will go with the chronic illness and its impact. Okay. And also the 9th chapter, that is, what is that 9th chapter is?
9th chapter is like terminal illness, ma'am.
Terminal illness. So tomorrow we will discuss in the next class. We will discuss that. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah.
How many more classes we have, ma'am?
I think more 3 are there.
More 3 are there.
Tomorrow sir will take. Sukumar sir will take. As if today is busy, I'm here to take the class today for you.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So I will cover 3 topics. That is A, 7th, 8th, and 9th lessons. Okay. I will cover units, and the remaining sir will carry on. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Bye then.
Bye. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Bye, ma'am.